What is up, everyone? We're back with some more pro wrestling talk. It's 2025 is here. It happened. Netflix, the new deal, the first live edition of Raw via Netflix has happened.
You didn't think I was gonna miss this party, did you? First off, congratulations to Rhea. That was a long time coming, man. She's put up with a lot of crap. It's good to see her get that title back. The atmosphere out there is electric. Like I said, it's one party I wasn't gonna miss. I don't know how many chances I get to do this again, but hey, I'm glad I got to be here. It's freaking phenomenal. Netflix, baby, and Raw.
And you guys see that? You see who wasn't about to miss the big party, man. Undertaker, Marc Calloway, whatever you want to call him, man. That's a pretty dope BSK shirt he was rocking. You see, he had his whole biker swag going on, right? He pulled up as like the American badass incarnation of the Undertaker character. You know what I mean? A lot of people weren't feeling the American badass Undertaker. For me, it's a whole nother video, a whole nother discussion. At that time, it was all right to switch the character up a bit, but you know, he ultimately returned to the dead man, the Phenom. And you know, here he is nowadays after having the greatest gimmick of all time. One would say, right? The dead man. Now he's doing a lot of podcasts and everything, creating content, still involved with WWE. It's great to see it all, man. And he wasn't going to miss the party. So he pulls up on his bike, rocking that mean BSK jump off, and congratulates Rhea Ripley. As you see, man, under the age of 30. She ain't even 30 yet, and she's a 6-time champion, as this has been a big storyline going on, right? Dirty Dom with his dirty-looking mustache, man. And did you guys hear that? Who was it? McAfee? One of them called him a gold digger. But McAfee, I think, said, "You rat bastard." You got to love Mac. He's the man. Dom, you rat bastard, you. As, you know, we all know what happened, man. With the, and, you know, keeping me up on more current wrestling. For those out there, everyone, please subscribe, comment, join the discussion. Let's talk pro wrestling. Like the video for me, engage and all that, so we can keep pumping out more content and having these dope pro wrestling discussions and everything. Is the Judgment Day over? Certain newer stuff I'm kind of been behind on at times and whatnot. Is that Sable still alive? I guess at SummerSlam, he cheated on Rhea Ripley.
I can actually hate him. He's just really fucked me up and broken my heart. And now I'm going to break every single limb in his body. Seems bad.
And you heard her. She broke his heart, so she's out to break every bone in his body. And I know they've had like some tag matches since then. What was it? Dom and Liv versus Damian Priest and Rhea. But is the Judgment Day done off, or is it still technically an active stable? Please tap in and let me know. You know, sometimes the stables just kind of fade out and there's a weird period where it's there, but it isn't. Like when D-Lo and Mark Henry were still tagging and, you know, coming out with Titantrons with Nation of Domination stuff on it, even though it really technically didn't exist anymore. Is that what's going on with the Judgment Day? Someone please let me know. But back to the Dirty Dom thing. You see what happens, man. He done cheated on her. He went and did his thing, and I guess maybe the grass wasn't greener on when it came to the long run, or I don't know. True love is hard to say goodbye to, although, man, you wouldn't really do wifey like that, right? If it was really true love, or who knows, man. Relationships, let's not even go there. That's a whole nother conversation, man. We're just trying to talk pro wrestling and these storylines, but he's coming back. He's trying to get her back, and she, plays with him a little bit, sucks him in, pause, and hits him with the riptide. And what I want to know is, with all this going on, man, did he just get Marc Mero, right? And what I mean by that, and listen, Marc Mero, he's from Buffalo, New York, the best place on earth, my hometown. And, you know, he had a nice run in WCW with the Little Richard inspired gimmick. Johnny B. Bad, Dusty saw it. He said, man, this guy kind of looks like Little Richard a little bit. And they came with this character, you know, that I thought he played well, and he had Teddy Long as his manager, and I believe he had US and TV title runs. As you see, there's a picture that will say Johnny B. Bad with the world heavyweight title, even though he never had it, right? But this guy was like recognized as a big talent, to the point that I believe a lot of people say he was the first guy to get guaranteed money in WWE, where he became known as Wildman Marc Mero. And there's a lot of podcasts out there and stuff where JR, good old JR, talked to him and was like, man, I didn't know what your character was in WWE. Ultimately, Marc Mero's looked at as a failure in WWE. And my opinion, personally, it fits right into, what I'm asking if you guys think is going to happen after Dom caught that riptide from Rhea Ripley. It's like the perfect example, because I don't think it was a total fail in WWE when he came over, right? And he was Wildman Marc Mero. He had the feud with Triple H, who at the time had his wife, who is Marc Mero's wife, who is now Brock Lesnar's wife, obviously, Sable. And, Sable obviously blew up into this huge star. She let them things out on pay-per-view and all that. And her star power was just crazy. Everyone talks about Sunny, who's now doing that prison bit. Hold your head up, Sunny, like that she was the original diva and things like that. And she definitely was, man. Sunny was something special, but she made a lot of bad life decisions, man, that she paid for like a motherfucker, right? But Sable had her own electrifying star power that put her off into her own run that was out of this atmosphere. And what I'm saying is, like, there was nothing that could be done. She got so over with the fans and blew up in such a way that, it was going to affect Marc Mero as a pro wrestler, and I think it affected their marriage as well. But what I'm saying is, even though it's all looked at so bad, which we're about to get to what exactly happened, it wasn't all bad, I don't think. Let me know if you guys feel me on that. He feuded with Triple H a little bit. Wrestled like mid-card matches and ended up having a run with the IC title. It wasn't long, it was brief. It came after Ahmed Johnson, one of my favorites of all time, became the first black Intercontinental Champion after Goldust pulled the whole CPR stunt and everything. And, after he had to vacate the title with the kidney injuries, Marc Mero won the Intercontinental title in a tournament, which he beat Farouk in the finals. Sonny attempted, we were just talking about Sonny, to get him a loaded purse that had a brick in it, and things didn't work out. Farouk caught the brick upside his head. 1, 2, 3. Marc Mero is your new Intercontinental Champion. And very shortly after that, back in an era, especially in WWE, where we didn't see titles change on TV that much. That was another really cool thing about WCW during the Monday Night Wars that fans love, was like, man, a title can change hands on regular TV. And, it happened down the road in WWE, but at that time, that wasn't happening much. And it all came from this storyline where Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, kind of took Marc Mero under the wing. He had him doing some new moves, the Mero Assault, the Wild Thing, right, which is a shooting star press, which he has an amazing one. That's the footage is used in this video from a SummerSlam match against Goldust. And he ended up taking on Triple H like in an impromptu challenge for the Intercontinental title on TV. And Mr. Perfect turned on him, hitting him with a chair. It was all a ruse. We got a new champion, Triple H. Which is kind of wild retrospectively looking at, because, like I said, Sable, Marc Mero's real wife, before being his valet, his manager, however you want to reference her, was with Triple H. That was a storyline that they went with early on. But the point to say all that was, like, it wasn't just all just garbage with Marc Mero, like the way it gets looked at, in my opinion. Let me know if you agree or not, but the way that it went. And I'm wondering if you guys think, again, Dom is going to go down this, same epic fall from grace, as he's had a pretty nice run in the WWE so far, originally tag teaming with his father, and that whole storyline that had him make the heel turn, to get away from his dad, and then obviously the love angle within the Judgment Day stable with Rhea Ripley, and then cheating on her, and here we are now, he's getting riptided. And that's what happened to Marc Mero. Is after some injuries and stuff like that, he came back as a boxer character, Marvelous Marc Mero, as he was a New York State Golden Gloves champ, right? And when they brought him back to repackage him and get away from the wildman character that I guess was just looked at as such an epic fail, Sable, who her trajectory was already clear that, again, she was going up. They're like, what do we do with Marc? And he ended up getting booked into this whole angle where he was, like a domestic, like, I wonder if that storyline would go down different, right? Like a domestic violence stalker, jealous of her wife, and it all came down to this feud that you see, the clip and everything like that, as it goes down in history. What was the date here? May 11th, 98. You see the title of it. Today in history. Sable power bombs Marc Mero, which, her version was the Sable bomb. And, after all the BS, him chasing her around, being jealous, I think at this point in time, something happened where his jealousy made her lose a major match, and she was sick of it all, and she came out to confront her husband. And you see what it says? It says, on this day in history, 22 years ago, at the time of when this was written, I'm not sure when that was, right? Sable decided to confront her husband at the time, Marc Mero. Following her loss at Unforgiven due to Mero's distraction, Sable decided to take matter into her own hands and challenge him to a match. When he walked out, he toyed with Sable, almost hitting her with a TKO, which, guys, I think, is that like Brock Lesnar's finisher? Or was it more like Punk's go to sleep? I can't remember offhand. And then demanding an apology from her. When the Wildcat refused, she said she had an apology of her own and kicked him in the groin, just like what happened to Dom, right? Dirty Dom with his dirty stash. She followed it up with her signature Sable bomb to a thunderous crowd reaction. And at that point, this is what I mean, where Marc Mero is looked at almost like a waste of space on the WWE roster at that point, when, again, it wasn't all bad, but he was brought over getting guaranteed money the first time that had ever happened and everything. And, this is where it all goes bad. He was power bombed, Sable bombed by his wife. And there's reports out there about this. There's other, I think, pro wrestlers that have spoke about it, but Steve Austin was adamant that he's like, you can't book me with this guy. I can't wrestle this guy anymore, because pro wrestlers are all about their image, the character, and the work. You know what I mean? And if a guy that got, he put his wife over, right? She power bombed him, Sable bombed him. Like, he looks weak after this. And I think they even did an intergender tag team match, if I'm not mistaken. Tap in, guys, let me know if I'm wrong about that, where Sable went over again. I don't know, but at this point, Sable's a huge star. This happens, the crowd's popping like crazy, and Marc Mero is just looking like a buster. But also, too, like I said, with the whole, at this time, this is during the trash TV era, R.I.P. Jerry Springer. This was like entertainment, and I mean, I guess that stuff still kind of people will watch today, but it was just different at that time. Not to mention that Vince Russo really got into that kind of writing when it came to the storylines and stuff like that. But Steve Austin said, I can't work with him unless I'm just going out there and squashing him. And, it kind of just brought up this whole conundrum where no one wanted to work with Marc Mero anymore. Like, how can a guy that's just taking an L to his wife like that and looking that weak, no pro wrestler is going to want to have to wrestle this guy anymore. It F's things up. It was like tricky when they brought in Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn and stuff like that, although they had previous pro wrestling experience. And I don't want to get too offhand on this, but WWE does that, where they, ignore former pro wrestling experience when people make a big splash like this. If they've wrestled under other promotions, they're like, nah, that never happened, man. But this just killed Marc Mero. Like, how can we do this? You know what I mean? With kayfabe, with pro wrestling, with the sports entertainment, with the style of entertainment that we all love, right? The work is a part of it for like wrestling fans, in my opinion. And it makes perfect sense. Who's going to want to go out there and compete against a guy like that? If you got bodied by your wife, you don't look like you should have any credibility in the sport. You know what I mean? Like, you're a buster, and it killed off Marc Mero. And I'm wondering if this could be happening with Dirty Dom now. Obviously, I don't think any of us ever thought he would go on to have the kind of epic career like his father did, which he's got such an interesting story as well. And this, guys, comment with all your opinions and thoughts about all this. As again, it's all about talking pro wrestling with you guys on this channel. Old stuff, new stuff, everything in between, and there's going to be live stream coming and everything where you guys can get on and talk with me. It's just like, let's talk pro wrestling. And again, like I said, old, new, and everything in between. Some of the newer stuff I'm not fully up on. I am, but I'm not. I just had a busy couple of months, man. But you best believe this Netflix stuff I'm liking. I'm going to be staying up on it all. But could that be it for Dom? Has he seen, like, are his better days behind him? Is this going to turn him into a guy that no one can take serious? Feel me? He already is a legacy act who's talented. I'm not trying to ish on him, but I'm just saying some people look at him that way. Like, yo, you ain't your dad, and you never will be your dad. So he's already kind of has his back up against the wall, metaphorically speaking, which a lot of legacy wrestlers do if they have big shoes to fill, following up, trying to accomplish everything that their parent did. There's just a lot of angles to this all when it comes to Dom. So let's talk about it all. Share your thoughts about Marc Mero, Sable, Dirty Dom. That dirty stash, I'm sorry, y'all, I don't like it, man. He looks like some creep that be driving around in a fake ice cream truck or a kidnapper van or something like that. That's no laughing matter. But I don't know, he looks like a weirdo with that stash. And he's had a great run, man. And also, let's talk about Rhea Ripley, the whole night, the Netflix deal, the whole first live stream last night, all that. Tap in with your thoughts on it all, as well as any other interesting videos that you think could branch off of this video, what we're speaking about here. But ultimately, the main question is, did Dirty Dom get Marc Mero'd? Will it be the same effect? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.